Hey, it's only us again. That's right, it's me with our lovely Will here from White River Cinema in St Austell. And we're here to talk about latest and greatest upcoming releases, what's been going on. It's all happening.
It is, yes. Yeah, we're Easter, spring, everything. It's all kicking off.
So,
30th birthday celebrations as well.
Don't tell anyone.
You can't skip
Not
past
mine,
that.
not mine. Don't tell anyone. No, so you've had some big ones come out past couple of weeks. We've had Super Mario movie now out.
Yes.
How's that going down?
Really well, very popular.
Happy with that?
Yes.
Nice kids one.
Stuff. So we've been waiting for a good kids film because predominantly St Austell Cinema has been a big family audience cinema. Mm-hmm. So when we have a good film that will appeal to all ages, that's when we do our best.
It's a good time of year for it as well, Easter holidays like that, isn't it? Putting out a nice big Mario one.
Yeah, you say like your summer blockbusters, but it can be a tricky time unless you've got the weather on your side. Summertime, if the weather's not on your side, people are going to be on the beach and doing stuff. So.
I think Mario's such a broad seller anyway. Everybody's heard of Mario in that sense.
Yeah, you know what to expect.
All it takes is the grandkid going, can we go to see Mario?
Yeah.
Like, even Gran and Grandad know who Mario was like that.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he's been around quite a long time. I mean, I don't know if you remember, you probably have seen it since the live action one they did with Bob Hoskins.
I've seen clips of, yes. Yeah. The dungarees were questionable.
No, the whole film was questionable. It wasn't great. Yeah, it's very dark, and I think I saw bits of it. One I couldn't really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to go see the latest Mario one, but I'm not going to be knocking your door down to go see it just yet, because I mean, I can kind of imagine what's going to happen in it already.
Yes. It's very colourful, very good fun, and if you're a Mario fan, you absolutely love it.
Yeah, definitely, and I think the casting in it as well is something to see like that. Are there any musical numbers?
We were discussing this the other day, though, like with animations, do you need that voice cast?
See, I
saying, like, the Disney
personally
ones,
would go back to the old times of, higher quality voice actors over just a namesake.
Yeah,
you get that name on the poster, but you think of all the Disney films in the past that we've had with these amazing voice actors, and where that talent sort of goes.
Yes, definitely. And you think with Mario, you've got Chris Pratt, who's a decent enough actor, but there has been some debate about him and his accent being Mario and stuff like that.
Lack of accent from what I've seen.
What was the point of casting him if they're not going to use him to its full ability? Surely there were other actors.
Or even if they don't want his voice, why not hire anybody else or any voice actor in that sense?
It's not going to matter.
Yeah. Okay, so we've done Mario. What else has been on the go? Hallelujah.
Oh, yeah, well, that would have finished by now, because...
less said about that, the better, that's
that
fine.
was very mixed opinions, wasn't it? So it took a real dark turn halfway through.
Interesting. Interesting. Like I say, I think one of the writers was sick when they were on the second half of the script.
I think the first part, because it's Alan Bennett's play originally, they stuck to the play. And I think the last part, the adaptive screenwriter went her own way and sort of changed a lot.
Murder mystery. I'm not going to say anything, but murder mystery, which I was not expecting in a lovely little care home, lovely little piece on the NHS. I was like, oh my gosh, like you say, that was a shock twist for me, that one.
Yeah, there's quite a few sort of people come out a little bit bemused by what had happened.
I think given off the trailer, you get an idea of what the film's going to be about, and then there was no hint towards any of that. No,
it's definitely wrongly advertised. There's been a few things like that. You sort of, it's been advertised a bit wrong.
Yes,
sometimes better, sometimes worse. And they do need to work on their advertising, I think, sometimes. So.
I know, spinning off on a tangent here, is always thinking about the Iron Man 3 trailer, because they obviously tried to make Ben Kingsley this bad guy's the Mandarin and things like that. And then, of course, there was a shock twist in that. And I think, how far do you go with the marketing of it with a twist villain? Because what's point is it false advertising?
Exactly, yes. I know that was uproar, wasn't it? But I quite liked it. I thought it was quite ingenious how they did it, and it was good when he was reintroduced in Shang-Chi as well. So he was brilliant in that.
Almost doing him justice later on down the line like that. But it's interesting about doing the trailers of it, because they don't want to give away anything.
No, and you sometimes get completely the wrong idea of what the film is going to be about.
What you're going to see.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else have we had on the go?
Dungeons & Dragons has just started. The first showing was a charity screening for Meta Cinema. So it's a charity organisation, and children that are sick in hospitals and stuff, they'll give them like cinema stuff.
Oh, that's amazing.
Hospital, and take them out and do stuff. So it's a really good charity that we support. We've been supporting them for a while, but it's the main one, and that was a charity screening for that, and that done really well. But since then, it's been very popular.
Yeah,
I am still to see it, but
forward.
everyone tells me I should watch it because I enjoy the fancy film stuff, and Chris Pine's good, Hugh Grant's in it. So
Hugh Grant, I love the way he's gone in his career in that sense. That I just think,
I don't know if he's so happy.
He's still no. I do like this. I've seen him at a few things being a bit grumpy in interviews and things like that.
Yeah.
But he's gone from that lovely wholesome British typecasting to grumpy old man British typecasting. You know, and it's like he's staying in there no matter what, like that.
Yeah.
No, so I'm really looking forward to doing Dungeons and Dragons as well.
Yes.
I don't know anything about plot, storyline, and I'm almost trying to keep it that way.
Well, okay, I won't tell you what happens then. So,
I wasn't telling you that. Yeah, no, like I say, I'm looking forward to it, but I don't want to go into it knowing kind of what happens because I don't really know much about Dungeons and Dragons. I get it; it's the board game, fantasy and role play and all this sort of thing, and I get that. So, is it based in the world as if the world of Dungeons and Dragons is real?
Yes. So all in Dungeons and Dragons. So Chris Pine's character is a thief. He steals his artifact for someone. Turns out to be a very dark artifact, and they can use it to create power and like take over the world. And stuff. So he gets his little gang together. So a bit of anti-hero-ish. So he's not all good, but he will do the right thing.
And getting that gang of rapscallions together to sort it out. Oh, I can get into that, I think.
Definitely,
Sounds a bit of fun.
But sometimes nice not to know too much about film. Go in a bit sort of...
This is what I'm quite happy to do as well. Learn about it there and then. This is the thing. And I think if I know I'm going to like something, chances are I probably will in that sense. Yeah. And I can sort of just trust that I've gone away and I'll just go into it and let it take you with it sort of thing.
Have you ever walked out of a film? That's the thing.
Only because I left my keys in Mustache Jack's up the road.
Fair enough.
And it was Dumbo, the live-action remake. So that was great because I pretty much knew what was going to happen in Dumbo. So that was because I went out to get the key. But no, I don't. The people in front of me, I remember when I went to see Cats, the people in front of me walked out of Cats. But I wasn't going to miss an ounce of what was going on that screen.
See, I've never walked out of a film either. And obviously, I probably wouldn't because you want to see it through to the end. And I don't get why people would walk out partway through, unless there is they left your keys for a reason. Yes, some will go because they're not enjoying the film. But I would want to see it through to see if it A gets better or gets worse, and at least you've got that talking point.
You're there. You've paid for your ticket, aren't you? In that sense, and you can then go, oh my God, I watched the whole thing. Did you see the ending? Yeah. And then you've got a valid excuse to go away and talk about it in however way you want to talk about it. Tell me when you've watched the whole thing, though. Yeah. I think like you say, I've never felt the absolute compulsion to get up and just leave. No,
you get different films. You'll notice some films, you think, right, there's going to be quite a few walkouts in this one, because it can be a bit, the Babylon film we had, there's quite a few walked out with that one. But
why do you think?
There's a combination on that. I think it was a bit more hedonistic than some of them were expecting, because it was advertised as like the golden era of film, and people were going to go and say, oh, it's a bit of a Hollywood loving, but it wasn't. And it was such a long film as well.
Long, that's the problem.
But there's one couple, they'd left like 10 minutes from the end. And I don't know if they thought, oh, this is still going on. We've been here for 2.5 hours, it's still going on. But you think, you've gone that far, you might as well
10
just
minutes.
Wait to the end.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. But then you say about longevity now, I do think there's a few films where I've gone, could have saved half hour, maybe even an hour on some of them.
John Wick was out recently, that's really long. Yeah. I mean, each film's got longer and longer, and I don't know why. We've had quite a lot recently. Christmas was tricky to schedule because we had Babylon was out, Avatar was out, and there was so many long films that to fit them all in
to genuinely show them all. Yeah, because obviously, like you say, Avatar, that was really long. I know that obviously the Batman film that came out last year, that was incredibly long as well. Yes. So what have we got coming up? I can see this fabulous poster next to you here. Yes. That's probably the elephant in the room right now.
The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah, thoughts and feelings?
Advance booking is available now for that one. Starts on May the 3rd. I'm looking forward to it because I've always enjoyed the Guardians films. I think they're brilliant. Yeah. A bit of a change from the usual Marvel stuff. It's still got that spacey, but it can involve that more fantasy element within it. So I'm weird with my superheroes. I like them, but I need that realism. So that's why I like Iron Man and Batman and stuff like that. It's got that realistic element, those sort of creations. Superman I've never been so keen on because I've always got that sort of...
He's just an alien.
I appreciate Spider-Man more because I could see someone getting powers. It's explained, so I'm silly that I need to have that.
No, I can understand that. It's that scientific of, hang on, how are they doing that? Like you said, wherever with Iron Man, you see the suit being built. Yes, I can't go off and make a suit like that. However, I can understand where this genius might be able to.
Yeah. But then I can also enjoy stuff that is completely out, like Star Wars and stuff like that. So It's either got to be completely
one or the other.
Yeah.
I think, like you say, with Guardians, you get that real. It's nice for the Marvel stuff to be off Earth, doing proper weird space stuff, and that is what they go and do. Weird space stuff.
Rocket Raccoon and
but
tree
then
and stuff.
I'm a bit concerned about Rocket myself in this next one. There's been an awful lot of marketing pushed towards him.
Yeah, and you've got his backstory, haven't you? Sort of showing when he was younger and how he became what he was. And the trailer itself is, I don't know, the music is looking poignant. They said it's the last one. It's Gunn's last one. I think he's off to DC. So
they've said this one is quite Rocket focused like that as well. So that's the way it's going. But it's interesting, like you say. Obviously, James Gunn, that's him. Chris Pratt, I've read one literally this week saying he would return as Star-Lord now.
Yeah, so they might bring them back in as within the Avengers, because there are Avengers films coming up. So I don't think they'll get rid of all of the Guardians, but I wouldn't be surprised if we lost one or two.
And as a franchise, the Guardians probably going to be taking a break now until they sort of...
Well, because Gunn has left, so he won't be directing. I think they would only do it if he directed. Obviously, he got rid of before because of off-screen comments and stuff that he'd made in the past and everything, and they all said they're not going to do any unless he does it. He came back, so they are doing another one. So I think it is going to be rounded off for them.
It's interesting because with Marvel, it's got to that time now where that generation that were playing these characters are now growing out of them.
Yeah, and a lot of it is probably their big breaks as well, and they have gone on to do other things and probably think, oh, I want to do other stuff. So,
you look at Robert Downey Jr. I know he had a bit of a career previously, but then he had lots of scandal and things like this throughout, and then picking him back up for Iron Man was the resurgence of his career like that.
Huge.
Massive, bigger than he ever was before.
Yes, yeah.
So like you say, it's a big break for a lot of them.
Yeah, Hemsworth as well, because he didn't do much prior.
No.
To be Thor, but
he's now obviously taking a break. I know he said he's taking a bit of a break for medical reasons. I think he's had a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or something or other.
Yes, yeah. Joe was telling me a minute ago.
So he'll be taking a break. But Guardians, very much looking forward to it. Like you say, it's the fun Marvel ones. Yeah. You know, it's one of those ones they can still pull it off where even if it is a universe-ending threat.
Yeah,
there's still a great soundtrack. There's always a great soundtrack on that one. Colours are always amazing, and seeing it in the cinema, like you say, it's that one of those ones where you really are transported away into it.
Definitely, yeah. Looking forward to that.
In the sense of colours and music and sound and everything like that, you fall into it as such.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that one. Obviously, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is going to be coming out soon as well.
Yeah, that's the animations, and that's always been within that world.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. And again, it's going to be interesting. But they mention No Way Home in that one.
Yeah.
And about what's being done in No Way Home. And I've heard possibly that MJ gets her memories back. So if that's the case...
Okay, yeah.
What was the point in No Way Home?
Yes, yeah.
So this is where I'm like, no, come on, I don't want this to start getting messy in that sense.
No. Because I think the animated one is normally by itself.
So I think that the animated one's Sony, isn't it? It's definitely put out by Sony Animation Studios.
Yes, yeah. So it might discuss it, part of it. The whole thing, so the posters, it's got all the Spider-Mans.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Into the Spider-Verse, and it was very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And like I say, it's nice to see a different style of animation being given justice, really.
Yeah.
You know, and showing what they can do, which I think is fun. And it's, it puts an end to all this animations just for kids rubbish sort of thing.
Yeah.
That there is great quality animation work being done, and it's for everybody in that sense. Okay, so we've got Guardians. We've said about Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
What else have we got on the go at the mo?
So
there's a few horrors.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a few horrors.
So we've got Renfield about to start. So that's a comedy horror.
Yes.
But that's Nicolas Cage as Dracula and Nicholas Hoult as Renfield, who is Dracula's assistant and minion or whatever all the years. But he gets fed up of being his lackey and decides to go off on his own. So he goes to San Francisco and then meets this girl who's a feisty traffic warden, and he wants to be with her. And then Renfield doesn't have many powers, but I think if he eats bugs and stuff like that, he gets like super strength.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he's like a mini Dracula sort of thing.
Yeah. He's not a pure vampire. So I think he's a funny character. No one, I've tried to research exactly, is he a vampire, is he not? And he's what he is.
Is Renfield a previous character, or is that new?
He's previous, yeah. So
that has been like throughout Dracula novels and things like that.
Yeah, he's in Bram Stoker, so R.N. Renfield.
I could get, and Nicholas Holt's great as well.
Yes.
And I think he's got to go and get Dracula his prey, and then Nicolas Cage as Dracula is just, that's spot on. That is
really good casting.
Makeup looks great on it as well. The effects look really good.
Yeah,
I'm happy to see that one. And again, that's my kind of horror movie in the sense where it's like
comedy.
Yeah, they've made it real in that way.
Yes,
that if this were to take place in the real world, it is ludicrous. It is funny. In that sense, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that one.
Set in the modern time as well, so they brought it all up to date. And obviously Nicolas Cage isn't happy that Renfield wants to go off and have his own life, so they sort of come to blows.
I think that's, again, it's so different. Can't say I was expecting it in April.
No,
to be honest,
well,
or May.
It's a comedy one. You sort of maybe. We've also got The Pope's Exorcist with Russell Crowe. That's an odd one to come out in April.
Yeah, it's curious.
And then we've got The Evil Dead Rise a couple weeks after. So it does seem very strange because they should be September, October.
Halloween, yeah.
Halloween. But you have that sort of whole season, don't you? So you don't just release it on October. Last year we had the films coming out mid-September through October, even into November. So it does seem
curious that it's this sort of real springtime as we're going into spring. They're pushing out
3 horror
movies like that,
one after the other.
I think that's just a narration on the times nowadays, isn't it? You know, you can't escape it.
No,
is it Resident Evil? Did you say the other one was, or Rising Evil?
Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise. This is the thing as well. It gets me is the titles of them all.
Because
I'm pretty sure it's just the words Evil Dead and Rise in a different structure every time. Or Evil Dead Rising and things like that. You know, it keeps going like that.
A lot of repetition.
Should I guess what it's about? Zombies by any chance? Monsters, I'd imagine. People making mistakes and falling over things, going into rooms they probably shouldn't go into. All the good stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, answering the door at night. All the good. All the classics that you probably shouldn't be doing.
Why are you doing that?
The stuff that you'll shout. Why are you doing that sort of thing?
Definitely. Yeah, I'm not a big horror fan. So.
No. Do you still get because I've never been a jump scare fan. Do you still get those, when you see, I imagine, people in the cinema watching jump scares, popcorn flying up in the air sort of thing?
Sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't have to be a scary one. Sometimes it will just be a normal film. There might be like a bit of a jump. That's what catches people up more, I think. Because horror ones, you're sort of like, you know it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And then it gets you. It's still like a little jump. But,
and it's the popcorn all up in the air.
Yeah, I have to think. I know there was one film we had which wasn't particularly scary, but there was something in it used to catch people out. It wasn't long ago.
I'd love to be up in the projector room watching everybody, waiting for that moment to happen every time and just seeing all the popcorn go up. Glad I'm not hoovering tonight. Sort of thing. It's like I say, I'm not one for scary horror, gore as such. I wouldn't put myself through it in that way.
No.
And it does feel like you're putting yourself through it sometimes.
Yeah, it's not always a pleasurable experience, is it?
But then some people, they enjoy that. They like that adrenaline.
Yes, they like that scare factor, don't they?
A rush.
Yeah.
Well, no, not for me. I'll quite happily come in here with my crisps and my biscuits and just watch a nice wholesome film. Thank you very much.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
You expected a wholesome film and then you get...
No, exactly. See what's going on. It's more... I'm not going to spoil anything, but it could have been a horror genre. There we go.
It could, yes. Yeah.
This is it. So what else is on the cards at the Mo? Is spring an interesting time for releases, like going up into the summer? Obviously, you've just had award season and things like this.
So that's out. So you'd say sort of January, February, you'll have your more arty ones. February, you'll get a few films for the half term. But certainly now you are getting more into the bigger blockbuster season, really.
Going into that sort of that summer big hit one where they're pushing them all out. Yeah. What are some of the big hits that we're sort of anticipating?
Indiana Jones.
Yes, of course,
high on the list. There's a new Mission Impossible. They've had mixed numbers over the years. They've always been good films. And I think they've actually, unusually as a franchise, got better as they've gone on, actually.
Just amazes me he still does all his own stunts.
Yeah. It does
absolutely amazing.
Really big set pieces in this one. But with Top Gun being so popular, I think it's made Tom Cruise himself more popular again, and there's more interest in seeing this new Mission Impossible. Because for a little while there, people have been, Tom Cruise, but he's
still at the top, isn't he? Yeah, like that. He's still going like that.
Another Fast and Furious.
What number's this?
10.
Wow. Yeah. They've got to start getting more interesting with the titles as well.
Fast X, I think this one is.
Is that what this one is? Okay.
I think they did try a few variations, but the audience are getting a little confused. Oh, is that Fast and Furious one?
Which one? Yeah. Honestly, I think I probably... This is the thing, I couldn't even tell you which Fast and Furious film I've watched in the past because I cannot differentiate between any of them. I couldn't tell you the difference between any of them.
We're hoping this one gets... I mean, who's it? I think Jason Momoa's coming into this.
Oh, okay. Is it Vin Diesel? He's still going? Yeah, he's still going in it. Classics.
But the last one was a bit of a dog's dinner, really. So a bit in space and a bit in... So a lot of the effects...
Space?
Yeah.
No, I can't be dealing with that. What are they doing in space?
It was a bit of the jump the shark moment, I think, for...
So what was it? Fast and Furious Saturn Drift or something like that, you know?
So I think we all said they need to ground it and get back to the basics and what they're good at, because they were going too more.
Yeah, because it used to be, you know, street racing,
So, yes.
family, and all that sort of rubbish. Whereas, like you say, it's now saving the universe.
yeah. So it's got to get itself back on.
Talking about what's he called, Vin Diesel, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Have you seen he's coming back for Moana live action?
Oh, I did hear about that. Moana. Like, is he playing?
He's coming back to play Maui in Moana, and the voice actress that played Moana is coming back to play her in the live action version. So they're both coming back. So what's your thoughts and feelings? Because they only came out 6 years ago.
I'm not a fan of any of the live action Disney remakes, to be honest.
I don't
know if I should say that out loud, but
I think
none of them are as good as the animations.
No.
See, the Cinderella was quite good. Maybe James one, that was all right. But they always seem a bit too long, and they're quite... Yeah, the tone's never quite right, is it?
I think the problem is you've got that nostalgia factor with a lot of the older ones, that they've got that audience where we grew up with those animations, we're going to go see it because we know the story. It's people like familiarity like that. Yeah. It's easy, you take your kids, whatever. However, Moana's been out 6-7 years.
Yeah.
There's not a generation yet that's going to be nostalgic for it in that sense. Yeah, there are people that like the film.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Which I can completely understand. But how much is there to bring to life in that sense? I say bring out Moana 2, an animated number sequel, you know, something like this.
Yeah, because the animation's so good in that. It's quite realistic in places, the sea and everything. And the trouble is, to create it, they've got to use a lot of CGI. So, in my opinion, it's not always live action. It's like Lion King live action was all CGI anyway. Yeah. So, it did seem a bit pointless doing that.
Again, love me some Jon Favreau, director of that one, and all this sort of thing, but completely pointless at the end of the day. When also, you know, Lion King's untouchable. We all know that.
The Jungle Book. I mean, that's one of my favourite animations. But what they do with King Louis in the live action is just ridiculous. What's the point of making him?
He was Gigantopithecus, wasn't he? Voiced by Christopher Walken was my already. I was like, love me some Christopher Walken, but where are we going with this? You've gone from Louis Prima, you know, again, great voice acting and things like this,
singer,
to not quite so much. You know, voice acting, you used to think of it as pantomime in a way. You know, such expression in that sense that, you know, you're acting for the back of the room sort of thing. Yeah. Whereas there's none of that anymore. It's like you say, you're hiring that actor to play that voice.
But on surprises, the Aladdin one was actually quite good of a live action remake. And I think a lot of people were sort of going in thinking, oh, this one isn't going to be as good. Guy Ritchie was directing. Was this going to go?
Will Smith as Genie. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was actually
made
success.
Some interesting choices, but I didn't mind that one. And then obviously the next one is Little Mermaid. Yeah, interesting.
Yes, got the poster out for it.
I'm tempted. I think what's putting me off is I've seen Sebastian the Crab, and he terrifies me. He looks terrifying.
Yeah, they are making them darker and not as fun and friendly. That's
this is it. Make
issues
them,
I think I've got.
Again, it's this live action rather than animated models as such. They're trying to make it so realistic to the point where I don't want this gross little crab talking to me. He looks horrible. You know what I mean? He's beastly. I'll think I'd be kicking him into the sea, and he's talking to me. No thanks. And I know because I've seen a clip of what flounder look like as well, the fish. And again, it's very difficult because fish they're not big yellow and, you know, they don't talk and things like this. So do you have an actual flounder and things like this? At what level do you stop the realism in that sense? Yeah. And then I've got real thoughts and feelings on Ursula being played by Melissa McCarthy as well.
I know.
Myself, knowing that Ursula, voiced by Pat Carroll in the original, was based on Divine, the drag queen.
Oh, right.
You know, the makeup, just the flamboyance, the way she acts and all the mannerisms and things like this. I think it was a perfect role for a drag queen to play in the sense of it's this big, powerful makeup. And we've seen Melissa McCarthy be the funny big girl so many times now. And I just hope she does it justice. I love her and I want her to do it justice.
Yes, she does do good. And it's a good name for the franchise, which I think they needed. I say I wouldn't necessarily have automatically thrown her into the
wouldn't have thought about it. No,
not really.
So it's another interesting one, but again, it's similar to like the Lion King is how many the musical numbers there, because you're looking at that crab, the Sebastian. I can't see him singing Under the Sea. I cannot see that happening.
Well, they're going to have the musical, aren't they? I think they do tend to put the musical numbers, but they will tweak in variation on it.
Yes, they sort of chop and change a few of them.
Yeah,
don't
like
they?
Jungle Book, they had a few songs in there, but they weren't quite as upbeat as in the original.
No, and I know in The
Ultimately.
Lion King they were really close to cutting the Be Prepared, Scar's song, his villain song.
Oh, yeah.
They almost cut that. And again, you think, no, that this is the character.
Yeah.
I understand the symbolism can be quite dark. However, this is the villain. That's the point.
Exactly. The whole point of a musical is the songs are supposed to help tell the story. And he said if they don't tell the story, then they shouldn't be part of the musical. So it needs to be in
Yes,
there.
yeah,
It does
this is it.
help set him up who he is and his character.
So I'm holding out for The Little Mermaid, but again, bit bored of the live action remakes again still.
Yeah. Disney are making a lot of poor choices, aren't they? I think they've changed the executive again. So I've not been a fan of it for a while, like with Disney Plus and their whole release schedule. They've not helped cinemas. And cinemas have helped Disney make them what they are.
Years, yeah.
And they need to get back to making films be big cinematic releases, which is the way they are going to be going again.
Yes.
They're just doing too much. It's like the TV shows, it's too much Star Wars, too much Marvel.
It's oversaturation, isn't it? Entirely like that.
And
Yeah.
they aren't delivering the high quality that you'd expect, like with Disney stuff. But they do peak and trough. I mean, in the 80s, Disney was pretty dire, and then they had Little Mermaid at the end of the 80s.
The Disney Renaissance, didn't they, up through the 90s?
Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Aladdin right through, and they've gone back up to the top. But again, cinema helped
Get them there. Yeah, absolutely.
back up to where they are.
Yeah.
So they need to get back to having good cinematic releases and realign themselves. They shouldn't be doing quite so many superheroes. I think that might be rubbing off because they've got the Marvel and the Star Wars. That they're trying to think that their cartoons need to be more actiony, maybe, whereas they need to have just
This is
nice
it.
cartoons
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's sort of like that old, the 90s trope of the romantic love interest in every single film, isn't there?
Yeah,
Nowadays, there's always a hero in every single film in that
Yes,
sense. And it's
yeah.
these tropes that just creep in.
Yeah.
And before you know it, it's every single film is in that sense.
Yeah, you want variation, you want variety. You can't have it all the same.
No.
But you do want that nice cartoon sometimes.
Yeah, and I don't need to see
Well, I say
a
nice cartoons,
heterosexual
Disney.
kiss at the end of every film, and all
Yeah,
of these
yeah.
sorts of things. It doesn't have to follow that format, and I wish this is what they sort of knew.
Yeah, but I suppose I'm contradicting myself because Disney do like to kill off lots of people, don't they? So love to make an orphan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Batman right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, obviously, saying about the superhero and people getting superhero fatigue is a lot. That's been mentioned an awful lot at the minute. And then you had Black Adam that was out recently.
Shazam. and that
Shazam 2,
bombed,
wasn't it? Yeah.
really.
Why do you think that bombed so much?
I didn't see it. I think probably is a bit of fatigue, I think. I think it's tricky with DC at the moment because they're at a crossroads. You've got teams going kind of in.
Yeah.
He's going to be taking it in one way. Shazam's still part of the other side.
Yes.
But are they trying to blend it all in? And I think the first Shazam did well. I didn't think there was any need for a sequel myself.
No.
And I think that's the trouble. I think probably sequels, too many superhero things, and you just need some things a bit different, or maybe even a bit safer sometimes.
And I think it's
yeah.
DC are already sort of on that back foot behind Marvel in the sense, aren't they? Whereas if you've not got that name brand behind you, people haven't got that faith in it.
DC has always been darker because you think back to the old Michael Keaton Batmans, and they were like 15 and stuff when they came out. They offer something different. Marvel's always been probably that bit lighter, and DC got itself confused and wanted to sort of try and be
everything.
the DC version of Marvel, whereas they should have stuck to their own principles. Like the last Batman, that went dark again with Pattinson.
Yeah, but I think again there's need for that. There's a niche for that more adult superhero like that.
Yes, you do. And like the Joker, that was quite adult as well. Harley Quinn. So, but it's when they try and blend it in, that's when they seem to really lash it up.
Yeah, and like you say, with them, very similar to what Marvel doing, where they brought that comedy into it more so.
It's not natural, it's forced in. And
People. I think the problem is, people like those few jokes to start with, and then they hear the good response to those good few little jokes, and go, right, this is what we're doing, make it funny.
A lot more.
And it spoils the entire piece because, like you say, it should be serious. A lot of these things happening in these films are very serious things,
Yeah. But you can have a comic moment. There might be one little bit here, a quip there and stuff like that. So there is.
It's like you say, I think it's going to be
humour throughout.
interesting to see where they take the DC universe now.
It's normally like with Batman, you'd have Alfred the Butler who maybe say something sort of Yeah. What are you wearing tonight, sir? He's
Yes.
got this like pat
Yeah,
outfit on.
yeah, but just that droll thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's where
That's
it's
what you need.
applicable in that sense, where it's not
Yeah.
your main character in the heat of the moment,
No.
dealing with this universe-ending threat, making
Yes,
quips and punchlines, you
Yeah.
know, things like that sort of thing. So lots happening by the sounds of it.
Definitely, yeah.
Lots happening.
We'll have theatre stuff as well. Coming
This is
up,
the
so,
place
yeah.
to be.
Well, you're coming
Theatre.
soon, aren't you?
I'm going to come see Cinderella.
So
Yeah,
give us a
3
full
hours.
review after that. So
Yeah, and I'll be
you
able
have
to.
got intervals. Don't worry, it's intervals.
See,
next
this is
week.
it. This is the start of the Bring Back the Interval campaign. It starts right here, right now. Yeah, no, looking forward to it. There's always something on.
There is.
Always
definitely,
something
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
No, it's good stuff. Like I say, I'm happy to be here. Always happy for a box of cracks. Always happy for a nice swig of a cheeky little Fanta twist down there as well. Lovely jubbly.
twist, yep.
That's what we like. All the good stuff. Thank you for having me again.
Anytime.
It's been lovely, and
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. And I'll be in, like I say, most likely probably for Guardians next, I reckon.
Oh, you'll be in before that.
Probably as well. Yeah, the cracks are on, aren't they? That's
Yeah.
it. No, thank you for having me.
Cheers.
If you'd like to find out what's on at your local WTW cinema, please head to wtwcinemas.co.uk.